Welcome, I'm Miss Mare. We're here at the Fort Bridger State Historic Site in the Commanding Officer's Quarters. We're here in the ladies' bedroom, and we're here because I'm going to show you today what a woman wore back in the Victorian times, or military time period, about 150 years ago. So to think about how long it takes you to get dressed today, what kind of things you put on, maybe some jeans, a shirt, some socks, shoes, and you're about ready to go out the door, right? Back then, it took a lot longer to get dressed, and they wore a lot more clothing. They had clothing for functionality, they had clothing for a shapely figure, and they had clothing for vanity. And so we're going to show you what it took to get dressed. First thing is going to be for functionality. And it would have been a chemise, kind of like a nightgown. You would have put this on first. You would have had about 2 regular dresses. You didn't want to have to wash them all the time. And so this was kind of your first layer of defense against the dirt and grime of your body. And you wear this all the time. Second item for functionality is going to be your split bottom drawers. And these are going to be your underwear. And so once you had all this clothes on, it was going to take so long. It takes so long to go to the bathroom, to get undressed, to be able to do that, and then redressed again. So they found a way around it. These here, you can tell that they split. They allowed you just to kind of squat and go. Next thing, we usually put on our socks and shoes last, right? Well, back then, they put on their stockings, not their socks, on their limbs, not their legs, and they put these on next. And you'll find out in just a minute when we come to the next article of clothing why they did this. Now we're getting in to our shapely figure items. So does anyone know what this is called? All right, it's a corset. So back then they wanted a 17 to 19 inch waist, about a 2nd to 3rd grader's waist for a grown woman. And so they put this around your waist, so you tie it up really, really tight, so you get that nice shapely figure that they wanted. Wasn't very healthy. They broke ribs. They also fainted a lot because you didn't have enough air coming in. They actually invented a type of couch called a fainting couch because you fainted so often, so you'd have something soft to lay onto. But this was the style, and so you definitely wore it. It is also why you put your shoes and stockings on first, because you weren't going to be able to bend down after you had this on to be able to tie up your shoes. And along with the corset, it was going to be rather expensive, so you put on a corset cover, kind of like a tank top, be able to help with that. Next item for the shapely figure, you wanted that really skinny waist, but you wanted a massive bottom. And so one way to do that was with a bustle. You ever heard hustle your bustle? Sometimes it's still used today. You put the bustle around your back, help it extend, and hustle your bustle meant get a move on. So this would also help with that. And your third item for your shapely figure is going to be a petticoat. Kind of like a skirt or a slip. You'd wear up to 7 of these at a time. When you're wearing that, you had a nice big bottom. They got it so big back here that sometimes you could put a school tray lunch set on there or a tea set on there, and it would stay just fine. So they had that skinny waist, the big bottom, and now we're into the items for the vanity. So today we tend to go towards the tanner side of our complexion. Back then they wanted it as white as possible. They even went so far as using arsenic powder or arsenic pills, which is a type of poison today, but they put that on to make themselves very, very white. So to be able to stay white along with that, they didn't want any sun hitting them. Okay? So they would never go outside without a hat, maybe like one with these that had a hat pin or a tie down here, maybe one like mine or more similar to a bonnet, but you'd never go without so you could keep your face nice and white. You also never went without gloves, so your hands didn't get very tan. So you wore your gloves. And then, if you were dating age, you would have worn a snood. You always would have had your hair up if you were of dating age. This was one way to do that. Can you all say snood? It's kind of a fun word. It's like a fancy hairnet you put on and be able to have your hair be up. So you've got all of that on, you've got your outer dress on, and you're finally ready to go outside and be seen in public. Now, if you are working inside, you might also wear an apron, help keep you clean. But how long do you think that would have taken you to get dressed in the morning? How many of you would have wanted to do that? But there's a few of you out there, but not a whole lot, because it takes a lot of work. It's kind of fun to dress up now and then, but it would have taken a long time back then. But those are the items that they wore for functionality, a shapely figure, and their vanity. Now for a tour of the house, the commanding officer's bedroom. And the ladies' bedroom. This house had 2 parlors. So what is a parlor? Parlor was kind of like your living room today. So they had a family parlor where they'd spend most of their time, and we're here in the formal parlor where they would have entertained visiting dignitaries. Now we're into the dining room. Behind me, you can see where the kitchen is at. They'd be able to bring the food right through those double doors there. The kitchen was set off a little bit because that's where most of the fires would happen. So they were hoping they could save the house and just have to rebuild the kitchen. But here in the dining room, let's take a look at our table. What kind of things do you see? We've got some apples, some berries, some plums, a lot of fruit here. We also have an apple pie and some cheese. Back then they really liked to eat cheese with their apples, and they'd even melt the cheese onto the apple pie. So you might try doing that today, see what they ate, and if it tasted any good. Thank you so much for visiting us here at the Commanding Officer's Quarters. Glad you were able to see all the different rooms and what a Victorian lady wore.